Hi Rob.
Hi Jerry.
I just want to say how much I'm enjoying this time that you've managed to spend with me.
Wonderful.
Talking about these various issues with teaching the guitar and everything.
It's a great pleasure.
Thank you, yes. I must say that I came here expecting to be enlightened, but half also expecting dry technical answers and demonstrations, but so far I'm very, very surprised.
Really?
It's very refreshing
Oh.
to see what you have to offer and to share with the guitar community.
You mean serious musicians can have fun too?
Yes, I mean I didn't expect that when I came
Okay.
here, but now I know.
My
Now I know.
reputation's gotten around, you see. All these children I beat.
But I'm sure they're playing expressively and
I hope
enjoying the music that you're teaching.
I hope
Yeah.
so.
So far, we have talked a bit about how children play without nails. I mean, we have to assume, as you
Right.
say,
Right.
that they will start off without nails at least.
Yeah.
But what about people who do want to grow nails and play with nails? What are the considerations that they would have to take in when they play?
Well, let's say that this is the normal course of events, right? I mean, the guitarists will grow nails and they will play with them.
Yeah.
So I think the point, that we want to register of starting without nails is simply that the physics doesn't depend on nails, and it must not depend on nails because nails come and go.
Yeah.
And irrespective of whether the kid breaks a nail, once he's got a solid start, without them he can always play.
Okay.
Yeah, but now on the other hand, if we continue without nails, then we don't have the facility. We don't have the guitar orchestra. When you stop to think about it, the whole Renaissance idea of only the nibble end can convey the intention of the spirit.
Only the flesh.
Yeah,
the tip of the
neither nail nor other invention. That is fine if you're thinking about that one sweet tone, and you just want to propagate that one sweet tone. But then when Aguado comes in, he says, I use nails so that I can produce from the guitar a tone unlike that of any other instrument. And then Beethoven sort of puts his on it by commenting about Giuliani's playing that the guitar is a miniature orchestra.
Okay.
Dum. There we are.
Yes. That's where that famous quote
Exactly,
came
and
from. Yes.
that's my life's work, to propagate the guitar orchestra. I don't think it's going to get any better than that.
That is its major strength.
Exactly,
Yeah.
the versatility.
Yeah.
You
And all
see?
the colors that exist,
Right.
that are possible.
Well.
But now you're saying with nails.
With nails,
Yes, with
yeah,
nails. Yeah.
we greatly enhance, as opposed to, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think we have to say that, certainly at the highest level, that it's going to involve nails cum flesh, according to the chemistry of your choice.
Right.
Yeah.
Not to say that it is not satisfying when you're playing without nails. It can be a satisfying musical experience, right?
Yeah. I mean, it certainly can be a satisfying avocational experience, and we have to remember that the vast majority of people who undertake guitar will play avocationally.
Yep.
Right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet we always have to have embedded within the method the idea that we can produce the best possible result from anybody who seeks to obtain it.
I agree. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So it's a diverse world.
And you're catering to that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think the big thing about the nail, is that this represents the potential for bionic refinement.
Bionic refinement.
Bionic refinement. In other words, these are tools that we grow.
Okay.
They don't come from someplace and are artificially tacked on. We actually contain this.
They're part of our
Right.
biology, our physiology. Yes.
Yeah, and now if we take the thumb, for instance, if I were to do my thing here with the, okay, fine. I mean, I that's my lump of meat, right? And
Yes,
that's about all I can do.
No nail.
No nail,
Yes,
right?
right.
And and the fact that I've got that glob of meat means that I even can barely get the thumb in between the strings.
Yeah, it gets in the way.
It does tremendously.
But with that extension of the nail, I'm starting to see where you're going.
Let's do it, let's do it, right? Right side of nail, free stroke. Right side of nail, rest stroke. And now for those who have a blob of a tip on their thumb, here is the arrangement. You see that I'm actually engaging the flesh here, that there is a space between the flesh and where it hits the nail. But the fact that the two occur simultaneously means that I get a very nice release from the flesh to the nail. Globs of meat like this are more typical of Caucasian fingertips. Asians tend to have nicely tapered, see? Envy. The only thing is that the problem with the Asian tone is that it tends to be a little bit bright. The problem with the Caucasian tone is that it tends to be a dull thud.
Okay, but it's also darker, right?
Yeah. So we're kind of growing from different directions on that, but that's fine. That's fine.
The level of detail that you go into.
Well,
think of these things.
They come in. I observe.
This is a stark contrast, I must say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, now what about the nail? How do we employ it on the thumb? Okay. And I spent the first 40 years of my life thinking that I played off the left side of my thumbnail. Or 30 years or whatever, I don't know. But it turns out that that was not a good way to think at all, and that it is very, very, very much better to think of playing off the right side of the thumbnail. Now this has singular advantages. Number one, in my thumb sweep, I'm exerting that all-important vertical pressure. Right, the soundboard like the head of a drum, right, and that I have to press the strings towards the soundboard to generate tone.
What you're saying is that playing off the right side of the thumb enables you to achieve the necessary leverage and angle.
It's inherent, actually, in to play like that. Whereas if I'm doing it off the left side,
you don't have that same direction towards the soundboard.
You can just hear the tone thin out.
Very different, yes.
Yeah, and I mean, looking back upon it, the right side of the thumbnail is like a no-brainer. And there is so much technique that actually should be like a no-brainer. And yet people come in and they just say, well, I just never thought of that. Well, I'm guilty of that also. That it's sort of like this kind of spaghetti of possible things that you may or may not have ever thought of, and you've got to somehow get it together.
Especially with our instrument.
It
happens a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So the idea that it fits within the string, and there's another great strength, and that is that when you play off this side, it doesn't wear.
Why doesn't it wear?
That's a very good question. I don't exactly know. It's just that the bandsaw effect is absent from playing off this side.
So you actually find that playing off the right side doesn't wear the nail at all,
not at
whereas
all.
Playing off the left side, as we all know.
Okay, and also, of course, the fact that it doesn't catch.
Yes.
So I have written 5 short pieces which I'm going to be performing in their entirety at the end of the series.
Okay.
And starting today, I thought maybe we'd use a few little clips from them. The name of the 5 pieces is Tread Lightly in Lilliput. So I thought here that we could use a little clip from the thumb piece. Now, should I just say before I play this that when I start a student, I always get them used to this idea that we're pivoting from the elbow, okay? And that if I'm playing here and I'm moving to here, that these are the workers and they are transported in the lorry to the south side of town or the north side of town. But once they start doing their work, they want to do it in the healthiest possible position.
Right.
Right, okay, so if I'm doing the I finger, then that will be exactly the same idea.
So you teach them that the motion all
It's-
originates from...
Yeah, I mean,
from the
they're
ground.
not actually doing that at that time, you know, but what I try to get them to do is to view this as a platform, you know, and that the idea that I don't ever have any more tension in here than I absolutely have to, you know,
Yep.
or firmness, shall I say, so that
I can see how that is consistent with your all-purpose
Yeah.
right hand position.
right. Right side of nail in thumb sweep. That doesn't achieve it by any means, but it's just a sort of
Consistent with it. It
Wh-
keeps it in that position.
where are we coming from,
Mm.
you know? Okay, so now let's try a little bit of the thumb sweep, and we can see that the thumb, if the guitar is a miniature orchestra, well then the thumb is a miniature guitar, you know, and that we can have just the most feathered possible responses to, and we can also have
Wow.
so you'll hear that in the piece.